Hello and welcome to my review of YMCMB, Rise of an Empire. So first off, why do we really listen to a compilation album? We're looking for that one standout MC whose verse just really cuts through the posse cuts and really stands out. Like some people say Sahai the Prince. His verses were really hot on the Cruel Summer collection. The other thing is we just want to get an overview of what a label has for talent, as well as just posse cuts and altogether just hear them collaborate with each other. On here I figured we had a couple standouts. The standouts are not very high, but I have to mention whatever's good here, and I'm really wrecking my brain to figure that one out. First off was Drake, just for having the balls of not giving a shit and giving them one song. Kinda sound like a throwaway, but it was decent. And I really just noticed that Drake is bigger than YMCMB altogether. Ovo is getting bigger, and he's making money for Lil Wayne and Birdman, but I'm sure he's gonna grow out of it eventually. Euro, he's a new signee. He's a decent MC. You can hear some of the old school tendencies and mentality going into his verses. It does sound like he's got some 90s golden age influence. And I did like that he gave a shit about his verses. Lil Twist is hungry. He makes the kind of dialed down, maybe a little bit more PG, a little bit more tempered club music, maybe a little bit also teen oriented. Ain't my style, but I gotta give him something. He's hungry, he's got some undeniable lines on here. Corey Guns, he only had one fucking verse, but Corey Guns is pretty good, and I liked his verse. As far as the veteran artist goes, it was rough and terrible. They really did not give a single shit. Lil Wayne, he sounds rough. Just about worse, or even a little bit more drunk or whatever, just gone in his mind than he is been lately normally, so not really hot. And Nicki Minaj can flow. I like her flow. I really do dig that. And she can cause a controversy, and that's really the only song looking ass which people were really concerned about, but not really for the quality of the song. It gets old quickly, and we saw how it was just a sizzle in the pan. But I guess old news is good news, and it probably boosted a couple of sales. I didn't feel like her lyrics were worth penning, if she even penned them. They kind of sounded terrible. Tyga just sounds about as terrible and shitty as he does recently. He really has not been impressing me for the last 2 years. Ever since he stopped writing, he just sounds like he's not giving a shit. J Mills, Gutta, and others, I never really found them really interesting, and here too. They're there, they lay their verses, but I'm not really that interested in what they're saying. So what was really missing is like a Lil Wayne or somebody stepping up and saying, yo, I'm the boss, and making sure that the quality is right and that there's a vision. On Cruel Summer, at least, you had Kanye West. He was the one who made sure that this album sounded cohesive. He made sure that the verses were mixed. He made sure that the beats were dope. But here, I really feel that this person was missing, who just put everything together. For example, I don't really feel like any of the hooks are complex or well thought out. They're just simplistic, and it was as if everybody had their verses prepared, but then it was like the hook, yeah, we can just shit that together. Give me 20 seconds, I'll come up with something which is halfway okay. Nowhere near catchy, but okay. And what was okay for them is trash to me. Beat-wise, poppy, synthy beats, they're bland, but they're serviceable. I wouldn't really criticize them over anything else. Nobody really cared about Rise of an Empire. It just seems as if it's a collective, but without a head controlling it, and everybody just contributed their verses, but without giving any amount of shits about what they were really doing. It's a broken collective, and none of the people who were supposed to be a role model or as a role model figure really did. Drake was pretty much not involved. Nicki Minaj, Lil Wayne, Tyga all seemed to not give a shit and gave terrible verses, and I kind of feel sorry for the new and the young, because they really were left to be the only shiners, but they didn't really shine that hard. They didn't keep this whole album alive. and they really have nothing to look up to and no future at this label the way I see it. They've been at the top for a while now, but I really feel like they're at a steady decline. Drake will eventually leave. Nicki Minaj and Lil Wayne, I really do feel like they're, at least career-wise, on their decline, and I don't really see any of the new ones stepping up and really shining. Could be wrong, but I didn't see it, especially not in their MC ability, even though that sometimes doesn't correlate with fame or money or revenue they can get into, but at least skill-wise, I don't see them up there at all. It's just a broken label that quickly needs change, and this album actually does show it fairly well. 2 out of 5.